Hello, my name is Sunita, and today we're going to be looking at the intercompany transfer visa for employees traveling to the U.S. In this video, we'll also be covering the document requirements, the costs, and the time limits, as well as any other restrictions that the employees could face or why their application could be denied. So from the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services website, I found three main categories that you could apply for this visa. And that's for the L1A, the L1B, or the blanket L1, and that's for multinational enterprises, which mainly what we'll be looking at in this video. So let's first cover what the L1A is and what the L1B is, because the blanket L1 covers both of these. So the L1A, which is a little bit higher than the L1B, covers managers and executives. So let's define what they are. Manager is someone that has their own department and has their own subdivision and is in charge of people in that department and doesn't have supervisors. So putting someone into the U.S. to start their own department, that's what they're going there for. As well as executive, they're also very high in the company. There's not too many people above them, except maybe the CEO. So they have a lot of function as well. They're a big decision maker as well. So putting them in the U.S., they're going there to play big decisions and that kind of thing. And so in the L1A, they also have a preference for if they want to join, if they want to apply for a green card category. So the L1B is called Special Knowledge Worker. So this is someone who knows like the nitty-gritty of their company and their value of the knowledge that they have is actually not readily available in the country that they're going to. So in the U.S., they can't actually contract out that worker in the U.S. So this company has to send that worker there to allow the company to grow. So that is what they're going there for. If we look at the blanket L1, the reason that is there is for the company has to be engaging in commercial trade or service, and they have to be 1 year, at least 1 year operated company outside of the U.S., and 3 years prior, they have to have major domestic branches or foreign branches. So, and then under that, they have to at least have sales of $25 million, 1,000 employees, and then have approval of at least 10 L1s to begin with. And then that's how they start. And yeah, so that's for the blanket definition for the blanket L1. So next we'll start talking about costs. As you can see from this slide, the L1A and the L1B visa are the same for pricing, which comes to around $2,410 approximately, with including the premium processing fee, which comes to around $2,410. In the blanket L1 visa, there is an additional $2,250. That is because the company has 50 or more employees on U.S. land, with 50% of them with the H-1B visa or the L-1 visa, there will be additional costs. So next, again, we'll be looking at the documents that a visa holder would have to bring with them. For the blanket, the L1A and the L1B, they are all pretty much similar. First, they'll have to bring the I-129 form. And this is called Petition for Non-Immigrant Work. So basically, this is just declaring that you're not going to immigrate into USA. And then the other one is called the Form I-797, and it's just notice of action that you have filed for a visa. Some other documents that you would have to bring if you're going to the interview for the visa, some basic items are just like your passport, a resume, job description for like what you're going to be doing, the job letter that you actually are being sent to do work over in the U.S., previous work experience if it's for your first time going overseas, a diploma, certification, degree, and bank records. So they're going to want proof that you have ties to your homeland and that you want to go back home. And so that covers it for documents, and it is pretty much the same for L1A, L1B, and the blanket visa. So we'll just move on to the time limit. And so for L1A, they give 1 year for new companies that are just starting, and then 3-year visas for companies that are a little more established, and then they increase for increments of 2. And for the L1A, it reaches a maximum of 7 years. And for the L1B, it reaches a maximum of 5 years, and for the blanket again, it reaches a maximum of 7 years. Finally, if you were planning to get a visa and move to the States, and especially with a spouse or partner, or whatever the case, there is a special visa that you would have to apply for, and this is called the L2, and you have to file a special form called the I-756, and that is specifically for if your spouse is your dependent, and this would allow for them to work in any field of their choice or their field in the States. And also, there is another form which, if they wanted to, or whoever wanted to, for L1 or any L visa holder, they could apply for the I-539, which would extend their application or change their application status for non-immigrant status, and they could actually apply for permanent residency. And lastly, I wanted to talk about the limitations for this visa. And basically, there isn't too many limitations because in the U.S., visas are very specific to what the case is. If you don't apply to the right visa, you will automatically get rejected. So it's always recommended that you go through the lawyer to get your visa. But for the L1B, there is the limitation that if the work can be contracted out or is not a specialty work in the States, then it can be often rejected. And also, another thing I wanted to mention, under the blanket statement, Canadian citizens specifically who are exempted from L1, like who are under the blanket visa with a large corporation or company, all they have to do is bring a signed I-129S form, which is the document form for the notification that they've filled, that their company has filled L1 forms, and all they have to do is show it to Custom and Border Protection Officer with the supporting documents, and that's it. They're through. Thank you for watching my presentation today. I hope you had got the information you were looking for today, and hope you had a wonderful day. Bye.